Welcome to the first ever episode of the HRT Chronicles with your host, me, Dr. Amy Kellen. So today's case is Angie, and this is part 1 of 2. So Angie is a 47-year-old female who comes in with a chief complaint of weight gain, not being able to sleep, and feeling irritable. Angie comes in and she has a stack of labs from a previous doctor. She puts them on the table and she says, I need you to tell me if I'm in perimenopause. Without looking at the labs, I looked at her chief complaint and her age and I said, yes, you are. Welcome to the club. And Angie said, how do you know? You didn't even look at my labs. And I said, perimenopause is a clinical diagnosis, which means we don't actually have to look at your estrogen and progesterone levels to know that you're in perimenopause. It's a combination of your age, which for her is 47, as well as your symptoms that tells us you're in perimenopause. Of course, I did look at her labs because during perimenopause, you don't just want to check your sex hormones. You also want to look at your thyroid, your lipids, your inflammatory markers, your markers of bone absorption. All of these things are going to start shifting in perimenopause and menopause, and not for the better. I look at all of those things, which look pretty good, and decide the best course of action for her is to go home with a new prescription for oral micronized progesterone. This can be a pharmaceutical like progesterone, and she'll take it during the luteal phase, days 14 to 28, before her cycle. That mimics the progesterone that she should be making, but isn't making enough of. Stay tuned for part 2.